recent data says that inflation in the UK has just crossed over the 10% mark. It claims that a lot of this is being driven by rising food and drink costs. We're going to look at how you can cut back the cost of your food and grocery shopping. Now, this is something that I have been doing for a long time. I'm always interested on how I can save money on food. A lot of this is just about ensuring that I don't waste too much food. There can be a tendency when I'm feeling lazy to just buy the things that I see or I fancy or I just want. And that's perfectly okay. But what this does do is lead to a build-up of food that eventually gets thrown away. A good example of this is that I have been, for some reason, stockpiling chicken. So I have not been planning my meals as carefully as maybe I usually would, and we've ended up with loads of additional chicken. I keep saying I'm going to use this in salads, and then we end up having lunch when we're out and about. What I do is I put this in the freezer though, so it doesn't completely go to waste. But I now know that I don't need to buy chicken for a long time. So here are some of my favourite ways that you can help cut back your food spends. So number one, and this is probably the biggest cliche, and this is to plan your meals. Now you could do this by planning every single meal and every single snack. And I have been there. I've been like, Monday we're going to have Cheerios for breakfast, and then we're going to have cheese toasties for lunch, and then we're going to have spaghetti bolognese for dinner. But actually what I find is that this creates a bit too much restriction. What if you're doing fancy cheese toasties and spaghetti bolognese that day? Or what if something happens and maybe you're out for lunch? So what I do instead is I try and plan a selection of, say, 7 days worth of food. So you can then mix and match the combinations. Maybe there are some lunches that would be easier to take out with you, and they make good picnic lunches. Other food might be easier to cook for on those days when you're feeling a bit tired. So it doesn't have to be completely rigid. It can be fairly flexible. What we do is we have a list of meals that are on our fridge, and then we can just pick from the menu for that day. Naturally, you might be somewhat guided by like best before dates and expiration dates and those sorts of things, but this gives you a little bit of flexibility whilst eliminating some of the waste. When it comes to actually reducing your spends though, this is huge. I used to be the sort of person years ago where I would just go, oh look, chicken, sausages, whatever, and just pick the meals from the shopping as I fancied. I didn't think so much about how many days there were until my next shop or what I was going to be doing in that week. And this led to a lot of waste and a lot of unnecessary purchases. On top of that, when you plan your meals, you can actually plan for cheaper meals. You can look online at what's maybe on offer or what's on discount and plan your meals around those things. So this reduces your costs further. Like I said at the start, this is a big cliche and it's one you hear about a lot, but this has had the biggest impact on reducing my food spend. So number two is try the own brand products. It can sometimes be a little bit of a trap where you fall into the habit of buying like the same stuff every week and you don't necessarily realise that you're not buying the cheapest or the cheaper versions. If you make a conscious effort to change to the own brand or to at least drop down a level, so maybe you already buy in the supermarket's own, but what if there's a cheaper version than that? Normally there's a budget option out there. The chances are if you try these products, you will find that they taste just as good. Obviously there are some that are not quite right, but you test and you try and you learn. One that we absolutely ruled out was Cheerios. We have been buying Cheerios for my daughter who loves them. I then tried to buy multi-grain hoops or something from the supermarket's own brand and the kids kicked off. It was a complete waste of money. So now we actually invest in Cheerios instead. A good non-food example of this is things like laundry detergent and cleaning products. I find that I regularly buy branded laundry detergents and things like toilet cleaner, but I can easily switch down to the supermarket's own. This is something that I'm going to be focusing on going forward, and I'll be happy to report back in a future video. Let me know if you do the same. Number three is an obvious one. I think we all know this one deep down, but it's never shop hungry. And I mean, don't even pop to little Tesco or the corner shop, because that is when you're going to end up buying more stuff than you need. If you're doing your grocery shop on an empty stomach, maybe just wait. Try and grab yourself something to eat then, and then go back and do the full shop later. If you can, try and plan those grocery shops to be after dinner or after lunch, so that you know that you're going to not be purchasing with your stomach, but instead you're going to be purchasing with your more reasonable brain. I cannot tell you the amount of things that I have bought when I'm hungry. So I'll be like, oh, I'll get myself a little treat. And actually, I then do that like 3 or 4 times around the supermarket, and I've got 4 treats that I didn't even need in the first place. If I'd had a sandwich before I left, it would have made all the difference. Number 4 is to reduce your meat consumption. Meat and cheese and any sort of animal product are normally the most expensive ones in the shop. If you try and introduce more vegetables and rice and beans and pulses into your diet, not only will you get a lot of the nutrition you need, but you will also find that you will reduce the cost of your grocery spend. Even if you just try and do this for 1 or 2 meals a week, I guarantee that you will notice the difference in your food shop. You could easily do something like a paella without meat, and a lot of meals don't even necessarily need meat added to them. Number 5, check out the reduced aisle. If you go at the right time of day, and this is normally sort of around the 7 to 8 p.m. mark, you will find that there will be some reduced items in the shop. If you get the right items, you can get some real savings, but you need to be savvy. Not everything that has a yellow sticker on it is a good deal. Sometimes items are reduced with a yellow sticker, but actually they're cheaper if you buy them not reduced, but in, say, a multi-buy deal. So make sure you're getting a good price. Sometimes there will be branded products that are reduced, but actually the supermarket's own products are still cheaper. That said, you can get some great bargains, and this is a great way to purchase meat products. I regularly go to the reduced aisle, purchase meat, and then stick it in my freezer. This is a great place to get veggies too, and you can cook them up and freeze them on the day. Number 6 is use the apps. There are some great apps out there like Shop Me In, which gives you discounts off branded items. This is how I often buy Cheerios, because they're quite regularly on the app and I can get some money off by using it. You could also use things like Olio and Too Good To Go. These are food waste apps that help redistribute food that was going to be thrown in the bin. Through Olio, you can get the food for free, and through Too Good To Go, you can pay a small amount and get a bundle of goodies. Also check out those supermarkets such as Lidl, which will do a box of different veggies at a reduced price because it's kind of on the edge of its life expectancy. So look out for those things too. It's not an app, but you can catch them in the shops, and they're very similar to Olio and Too Good To Go. If you're shopping for your groceries online, check out the cashback sites. They might have a discount for, say, your first online purchase, or for certain items if you click on their link first before you go ahead and make your supermarket shop. And don't forget to use the receipt apps like ShopX. If you take a picture of your receipt when you're done and send it over to ShopX, they will give you some points. Eventually, these points can be turned into cash or into gift vouchers. If you're doing a purchase online, you can just forward your email receipt straight to them. Now, my favourite tip, and it is the one I have saved till last because I love it so much, and this is to bulk buy. Bulk buying is great, but it can be expensive, and if you don't have the space or the funds to purchase it up front, then I have a trick for you. Why not team up with friends, family, and neighbours? If you bulk buy together, you can get the benefits of those cost savings, and you don't need to stock your house full of toilet roll, for example. So try and team up, find friends and family who want to experience those savings too, and take it in turns. You can be like, right, you're buying the toilet roll, you're buying the washing up liquid, and you can share the benefits of those bulk buy savings. All you need is a little bit of time and awareness to put the effort in and think about what you are spending. If you have any great tips, make sure you leave them in the comments below and I will add them to a future video. Whilst you're there, hit the like button and hit subscribe so you can get future money saving tips. A big thank you for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.